Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. We're going through 1 Thessalonians here. We're getting close to the end. We're going through the 22 commandments here today. We're talking today about commandments 12 through 14. And these are commandments that Paul gave, and I'm entitling it the 22 commandments to Christians living in the end times. And this is part 4 or 5, I think I'm on. Part 5 I'm on. So anyway, we've talked about, several commandments at a time. Today I want to talk about 3 of them that tie right together here. And it's rejoice always is the first one, pray continuously is the second one, and then give thanks in all circumstances is the last one that I'm talking about today. And that's Numbers 12 through, not the book of Numbers, but the number 12 through 14 of those commandments as I'm listing them out. There's 22 of them, so we're over halfway done with those. So let's read here today. This is taken from verses 16 to 18 in chapter 5 of 1 Thessalonians. The first verse there, verse 16, says, rejoice always. Now, you're thinking, oh, wow, that's a very short verse there. I wonder if that's the shortest verse in the Bible. Well, technically it's not. There's the verse Jesus wept, which actually has like fewer letters in it. This is probably the second shortest verse. Well, a lot of power in this verse, just like the shortest verse, Jesus wept, showing, that verse has a lot of power too, because it shows Jesus, his humanity there in that verse. And then this verse here, that short verse, says rejoice always. And so, we'll get to that, but that's just a side note of a short verse. Verse 17, pray continually. And then verse 18, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. Okay, so let's talk about those 3 things here. The first one, rejoice always. And I'll relate this to last week. I was on the Appalachian Trail in the Smoky Mountains. And there was times when I'd come around, and I had just been, the Appalachian Trail is known for, it's a rocky trail that you're either going up or down, and it's always rocky, okay? I don't see any way that anyone can ever go anyway except by foot, maybe horse or donkey at times. But you're not going to ride your bike on it. You're not going to, ride your motorcycle or anything else on it. It's just too rough. And so it's always up and down. And I did okay on those gradual uphills. The first day I was on the trail, I think I climbed like 5,000 feet or something like that. Okay. And it was just kind of this gradual uphill, and I didn't mind, the little steps and rocks along the way. Where it kind of drove me bonkers was when you'd get to those big steps, that were like way high, and you got this pack on that you've got too. And so that's what drove me bonkers. But then the part that hurt the most was then when you went down, and then you had these big steps, and so all your body weight is going down, but then you've got that pack on you also that's pounding you down, and you're stepping down. And a lot of the trail is like alongside this mountain that you're on, close to the top of the mountain going along there, and there's nothing down below you. There's no little guardrails, there, or signs that said, watch your step, or anything like that, caution, it's a rough trail. As I was traveling along, journeying along, I would, get through a hard part, and I'd turn a corner, and I would see, Lord have mercy, there's another hard part that I'm looking ahead. And I would kind of laugh to myself, like, whatever, this is the Appalachian Trail. This is the way it is. There's not, you go through the hard part, and then it's just all easy and gravy train. It's like hard and then harder, and then you might have an easy spot, but then that's just the way it is. So I would kind of laugh to myself, like, whatever, this is the way it is. This is the Appalachian Trail. And so I don't say I was rejoicing always, but it was like I wasn't disheartened, like, oh man, here comes another thing. It was just like, this is just part of the Appalachian Trail. This is just the way it is. It's hard. Not everyone's, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. Very few people actually do the trail. And so as you're going through life, you need to stop and rejoice, because you realize, man, it's not the end of the world, when I'm going through these things. But to rejoice in that. The big thing we can rejoice with is that God is with us in these times, okay, that we're going through those hard times. Okay, we're not doing this alone. God's with us. So that's the first thing, rejoice always. The second thing is to pray continually. And that's to be, not to, always be on your hands, your knees, bowing down, and like the Muslims do, like, 3 times a day, we got to be, praying. No, this is in a constant state of prayer. So I'm in constant communication with God. Okay, so as I'm driving down the road, as I'm walking, as I'm running in the morning, so I pray a lot throughout the day. Okay, I might not have a huge extended prayer time, that like, hey, I prayed for 2 hours today. No, it might be just sections of the day. As I'm driving, I'm praying for this thing, and if something comes to my mind, I pray for it. Like, Lord, I pray for this girl in this situation at this time. There might be a prayer request that comes through, and I immediately stop and pray for that. I don't go, oh no, well, let's take that to the prayer time that comes, on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. No, it's like I'm going to pray whenever I feel like praying. Okay. And so to be in that constant state of prayer, pray continually. Okay. And then the last thing is give thanks in all circumstances. Okay. I'm going to relate that back to the trail here again, because you'd get there, and then you'd go through those hard times, and you'd go like, well, God, I thank you. The big thing I can thank God for on that trail is, like, I climbed those mountains and so forth, but then I saw awesome things. I met awesome people along the way that I would never meet if I had not climbed up those mountains. Okay, I saw views that very few people will ever see. Okay, and it is, I came out as I was walking along, and I had just the past couple of days seen all these awesome views. You'd be hiking along, and you'd look out, and you were focused on looking down, watching your step, and then you'd look out, and you're like, you'd stop, and you'd be like, oh wow, that's awesome. You'd be looking down, you'd see, the valley below, and all the mountains around, and there's no buildings or anything around there, because it's the Smoky Mountain Park there, and you don't see any houses or anything else. It's just that God's creation right there. Okay, then you come along, and you get to the one part where there's this road, and everybody and their brother is there, and you get to that point, and you're thinking, man, this is crazy, and all these people are looking out this view, and you're like, that's a good view, but man, I had better views way back up there. I mean, you're looking down on a road and stuff, but what I saw, in the past couple of days is much better. But as I was going up those mountains, I was giving thanks, like, Lord, I thank you that I have the ability to go up these mountains. I'm not sitting by the trail injured. Okay, so that's something to be thankful for. I thank you that I can take this time off to do this. I thank you for the resources that I can get here. I have a backpack and so forth, and the food and so forth. There's so much things I can be thankful for, and I can look for those ways to be thankful, rather than like, oh, here comes another mountain that I got to go up. No, it's like, look at all the things that God has done for me. So those are things to be thankful for. So again, rejoice always, pray continuously, and then give thanks in all circumstances. Okay, that's Numbers 12 through 14 of the commandments there. Hey, I want to thank you for watching. I am a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue our journey through 1 Thessalonians. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.